But have a good
Well,
one.
I did. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. All right,
Okay.
trader. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. So, I totally, just just as we were talking about last week, I'm, I told. I told Paulie and you guys too. I said, hey, it happens to everybody, and it just so happens that I did not reset my alarm after going to the emergency room on uh, on Friday, and then I woke up today with a smell of the coffee aroma in my house because my coffee automatically gets brewed and it's circulating through my entire house. But by about 30 minutes ago, and I'm like, oh wow, must be time to get up. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's late. you know, so I was running obviously a little late this morning, which is fine. Well, I mean, fine. Because Paulie got to step in for an extra amount of time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into analysis this morning. So hopefully everybody had a great weekend. I want to say happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I hope you guys all had a great one. I spent time with the family all day yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. Although I missed the last, I missed I missed the last of the Open, which it looked like it was an absolute disaster for Dustin Johnson. So I missed the last. I watched most of the Open throughout the course of the day. So anyway, let's see. Where am I at? Kevin says, hope all is well with the family. My wife had to go she had a little bit of a scare, but all's good. So thank you very much for your comments, Kevin. All good, but it was that was Friday. Yeah. Okay. So coming back and seeing what had happened with the euro dollar, and it looks like and here's your daily chart. So it looks like technically the euro dollar is struggling as we approach this 1465 level, and obviously the news in the market is dominated by Greece. It seems like Greece with the Eurogroup meeting today, everybody's waiting on pins and needles on what's going to happen with Greece today and this week. So if you look throughout the course of the week, like today we got some housing data. Just a real quick look over here. We have durable goods out of the U.S. GDP on Wednesday. And that's pretty much it. It looks like the week is going to be pretty much the week of the euro, what happened, or the week of Greece, if you will, and what happens in Greece and around Greece. So with that being said, we need to be pretty open to whippy price action in the market. Now, when you guys probably read my blog over the weekend or yesterday, I did it yesterday morning. And looking around at the longer term charts of the euro dollar, I just looking at it, I realized that the euro looks pretty bearish. I don't have any euro exposure at all. My only position right now is the Aussie New Zealand long. Just so you guys know, I'm ready to take positions in the market. I wanted to get past today, if you will. I was hoping we get some favorable Greek news here over the next 24 hours, so I can establish a position in the euro or in other pairs. I just obviously we're still waiting for what's happening. So it looks like I'm reading comments like Greece had sent the wrong proposal. They deny that again that they've sent the wrong proposal or proposal. It looks like some comments that are being said that it doesn't look like. Junker says it doesn't look like we're going to get a deal today. Moscovici says that Greek proposals are solid. So you get a lot of, as you could tell, a lot of mixed messages. Uh, and the fact of the matter is the euro is really mixed here. And what we have to assume, and this is going to be my assumption, that looking at this chart, and actually I'll just go into a 4-hour chart of the euro dollar. Let's I'll delete everything because I actually drew all of this stuff for the blog. So I'm going to redraw everything here. So looking at the euro dollar, as long as we're above this trend line, it's bullish, period. Right? To me, it looks very wedgy. What do I mean by that? To me, it looks like we're going to break higher. All right, that looks like a bullish wedge. You see what I'm doing here? I mean, that very much looks like a bullish wedge. So to me, it looks like we're actually going to break higher. Now the question is, how far are we going to go? That would be the question that I'd have, because it looks like we're going to break higher here. So what I would be thinking is 127% extension would be where we're headed first on a break higher. So this takes us to about 116.50, right? Okay. Now where is 116.50? What price is that in the euro dollar? If you read the blog and you looked closely at the euro dollar, that coincides with the 2005 lows, right? Here. You see that? Okay. Okay. So if you look at what we just drew, if we get a rally coming out of here, which looks like what's going to happen. I mean, we bust through 114.50, takes us to 116.50. That looks like a realistic expectation, if you ask me, right? I mean, it's 127% extension. Hold on one second. It's 127% extension. It looks like we're wedging. So I think that realistically is what could happen today. Now that's not going to be our resistance today. Our resistance is going to be 114.66, which are the highs. 114. Okay, that's going to be key resistance for today. And I would assume that most. No, I'm assuming I'm not the only person. I'm assuming everybody else is thinking we're going to break through here too. Okay. The question is, once we break and we start tripping stops, Paul said that ING thinks that the euro is going to go to 114.90. So what they're basically saying is that a few stops are going to get tripped above the highs and then it's going to reverse. I don't agree with that. I think if it's going to go, it's going to go. It's going to go. It's going to be pretty convincing. Like, the market's going to go, oh my God, we're rallying. Oh, we're going to, here we go. They're going to get sucked in and everybody's going to start getting long. We're going to start tripping some major stops. You're going to see some of the big positioning in the market get um, wiggled out, if you will. And you gotta let it rally a little bit. I think 116.50 is probably going to be a stellar place to be on the short side. Now, the question is, how about if it doesn't? How about if it turns the other direction? And that's when you start looking at these support levels through here. If you look at this is a 4-hour chart. So an hourly chart, let's go over to just an hourly so we can see. Okay. Um, Obviously 1295 is going to be support here, but then we have say 1260. So I'm going to write down two levels of support. One 1260, one 1295. Okay. Those are two levels of support for the euro dollar on the way back down. As long as that 11260 holds, like this, as long as that 11260 holds, it's fine. Okay. You got to imagine bounces like that, and you could take out stops just below here too. You can see just stops below and then bounce. It's indeed a possibility. All right, let's go over to the cable. So it's interesting that the cable's under pressure as well, because the cable's down. Yeah, the cable down 40 pips. Not really too sure why, but it is. Okay. Whoops. All right. Looking at the pound, really struggling here at the neckline, and I on Friday. So on Friday, I had a short in the pound. I think I made a little bit of money in the cable, shorting off that neckline. Maybe it was, you know what? It wasn't Friday. It was Thursday. Sorry. Um, but okay, 50% retracement of the entire move from July of 2014 to the low set this year. 50% retracement came in at 158. Excuse me, it's 159 basically. Our high was 159 and a quarter. We hit the neckline and came down. And if you recall, see this, the distance to build the inverted head and shoulder pattern to make it the same as the left shoulder for symmetry reasons, we still have some time to build the right shoulder. That's why this red line is here. This one right here, right here. Because this red line's built here just to, I left it there to show you to stay symmetrical. If this inverted head and shoulder pattern is going to play, we can actually continue to build the right shoulder. It could look something like this. Maybe something like that. And it's still symmetrical, and we can still get an upside move, even if we have a little bit of a pullback here, which is what I'm thinking is happening right now. Just making an assumption at this point, though. It's obviously you have to make an assumption. All right, so the reversal at the 50% retracement. So we're going to have some trendline support's going to come into play really soon. And that spike high, 157.50. That's going to offer us good support there. 1.5750. And resistance. Do we have any data come out? Hold on really quick. Let me look. MPC member Cunliffe? I don't know what's driving the cable lower. Obviously, it just came under pressure when the euro did, so I'm not sure if there's anything in particular. Um, Kevin says the pound looked divergent. Divergent. It's not. It wasn't though on the hourly chart because we didn't hit new highs. This is a high, lower high, high, lower high. So it wasn't divergent on the upside. Low, low, new low, or lower low, lower low. It's not divergent at all. It's actually relative strength is following as it should, just supporting the move, not telling us that it should be going the other direction. Um, so resistance here is going to be at 159. So you have to imagine that anybody who's got long right here, throughout this 158.50 to 159, they're going to be really happy if it gets back to 159 today. There's going to be sellers lined up there, so 159 is going to offer some resistance. This one's questionable. The euro dollar, questionable, because we're at the upper end of our range right now. So I want to put in bullish bias, but it's really questionable. All right, let's go over to the Swissy. Okay. Again, something gets done in Greece. If it seems like the can is going to get kicked another 2 years down the road, the dollar Swiss, I'm going to be looking at it as a long side trade. So just, you all already know that. I know I've prepared you guys with that. Let's get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that. Okay, so the 786 retracement of the absolute low, which comes in over here in May, right, to the highs, 786 holding. This last triangle ranged 127% extension holding. Previous support roughly still holding. So what we'll do is we're going to take this is all about a zone, if you will, but those highs are really important. 92.50. Support is obviously down here. 91.60, 91.50. Remember, if the can gets kicked in Greece, no one's going to want to hold long-term Swiss longs. Okay, so as long as everything in Greece looks like they're just going to push everything off for another couple of years, you want to sell Swiss francs. Buy the euro Swiss, buy the dollar Swiss, you name it. All right, dollar yen. Wow, really key support here. And futures are up huge. 137 points this morning. $122, nice double bottom setting up. 122.45. We're already clearing this resistance here. Let's 618 is really important, but we're not even close right now. Let's go to high to low. 50% retracement comes in at 123.50 basically, but 123.65, that's going to be a more important number. And I suspect that trend line is going to come into play at some point. It'll probably be right here, 123. Let's just call it 123.65. All right. And here is, we're also still on a range. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab some more coffee. I need some. And I'll be back in a few minutes, and we will finish up all the majors, and I'll take some questions from there. So thanks everybody for being here. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So we're going to finish up our analysis with the, let's take a look at the Antipodean currencies. We're going to start with the, well, actually, let's go to the Canadian first. Let's start there first. Then we'll go look at the Kiwi and the Aussie. So we drew this downtrend line from last week. Obviously, that downtrend line's sticking, obviously. Now we can take this blue trend line right, and we can extend it lower. Now it's a big deal because we know we now know how important that blue line is. Okay, very, very important. And that suggests that if we break it, I'm getting long. I mean, there's not any. I don't think there's really any argument, going to be any argument in my mind that if we get above this, let's just call it 122. What's the spike high here on the 4-hour? Looks like 75, 72. I mean, so we'd have to get above 122.72. Do we have any news coming out of Canada today? I know we have existing home sales. There's no Canadian news today. Okay. And let me take a look because I haven't. What the hell? Where did all my... Shoot. I'm missing all my charts over here on my other computer, which really sucks. That means I'm going to have to redo everything this morning. Okay. One of my computers next to me, all my charts are gone. I don't know why they didn't save overnight. Okay, so crude oil's up 1.2%. So if crude for some reason reverses course, then we'll keep an eye on the Canadian. But right now, as long as 122.72 is intact, looks like it's going to grind lower. Overall, we're still in a big range, big range. You can see it. It's all, just range environment here. Support will be critical as we head back down towards 121, 121.50 roughly. That's just an approximation. 21.50. Okay. All right, let's go look at the Kiwi because the Kiwi is really weak again. Looks like the Kiwi's at new trend lows, I think. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're at new trend lows again in the Kiwi. So the 50% retracement, this 50% retracement is on a monthly basis, okay? If you notice, it's actually from the low in 2009. Let's make sure we got that number. Oh, it's right here. Sorry. I know some of you are thinking, man, I just want to, maybe I want to get long, but it doesn't look like this 50% retracement level is going to support it much. Let's see. I'm just making sure I got the number precise. The high 42. Yeah, basically we're sitting just below the 50% retracement on a monthly basis. right here. No, I have 168.67. So let's do it this way because I want to be precise here. Okay, let's go to a monthly chart or a weekly chart's fine. Oops. So the low here to the high. Okay. Hold on. I want to be able to see this. So the low here, 48.90. So, and the high, 88.41. Okay, so the 50% is at 68.65. I mean, we're literally there. Let's look what the low is today. 70. So support is at 68.65. 68.65. Okay? It's 50% retracement on a monthly basis. I think it's going to give it up. I just don't know if it's going to do it today because if the euro, let's just say the euro bounces back to 114, the news is positive, negative, whatever it is that drives the euro back up, then that support's probably going to hold. Okay. Resistance. Hmm. And if you guys want to get long the Kiwi right now, if you guys are just looking for a bounce, I think if you get long the Kiwi right now at 68.80, which I'm not going to do, I'm just saying if you get long at 68.80, you keep your stops below 68.50, like 68.45, that's a possible trade. Like I said, I'm not going to take that trade, but I could see the reason why you'd want to. Um, hmm. I don't know where good resistance is going to be. I would assume as long as the hourly high maintains, then that comes at 69.28, 69.30. So as long as that remains intact, we are still bearish 69.30. I don't see that like there's no rush to buy the Kiwi here. I mean, but like I said, if your risk is manageable, but it's definitely counter trend. Let's go over to the Aussie. You'd have to be pretty convinced that the dollar's going to come down across the board too. All right, so here's the Aussie dollar. Now, if you're long the Kiwi, you definitely don't want that to break. 77. Well, we're right on support right now. 77.50. Let's remove all this stuff. Um, I think this is what we were drawing last week as a sell zone in the Kiwi, or in the Aussie, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to think about last week's analysis. I think we were noting that anywhere between here and here is like a sell zone. Um, I don't even think that's great support there, frankly. It's really not. It's just some trend line support. It's holding us though right now. I'm surprised we couldn't get above. We couldn't get higher than this 77.95. So I'm just going to write 78 cents. None of that's really good support or resistance in the Aussie. We're definitely range bound. All right. The dollar index. So we don't have intraday dollar index support or resistance. Hey. Got to keep an eye on the dollar, though. I mean, this is end of day. Hmm. That resistance comes in on 94.50, and support for the dollar index is going to be 93.50. We're in a range. Okay. Real quick, let me see if I can. Let's see if the peso or the Nordic currencies are telling us anything, because I haven't had a chance to look at them yet this morning. So let's look at them together. So here's the peso. That's nothing going on there. This is really important through here, though. Very important support through the, a lot of support through the peso coming through down here. You know, theoretically, if you get a spike down in the peso, probably wouldn't be a bad time to be on the long side. Any spike down to like 15.20, probably be really big support. But it doesn't look like we're anywhere near there at the moment. Looks very choppy. So let's get rid of this one. Wait, hold on. Okay, let's go over to the Norwegian krona. Wow, a lot of chop suey here. Hold on. Sometimes you just got to start over again. And there's nothing to do there. Swedish krona. Uh-oh. Keep a real close eye on the Swedish krona here. This is one of those situations that if you get back above 817. This is going to be a squeeze. So this is a good squeeze play for those of you that can play it. If the euro starts to come under pressure, and if the euro starts to come under pressure, you should automatically look at the Swedish krona, just in case. Okay, that would be 817 for those of you that can trade it. 817, 8.17. It's a key resistance, and then support is going to be support's going to be right there. Basically 808. It's not great support, it's just support. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we're done for now. Let me see if I can take some of your questions. And